What I can recall also, however, is that with migration, the number of people who had migrated, like my parents, I had an uncle who had migrated much earlier to Cuba. And the story I remember of him, well, there was a story that he's a rich man. Whether he was rich or not, I don't know. I don't think he could have been, actually. But he had been to Cuba. And apparently when he was very angry, he would swear in Spanish. And that was a real mystery. And he lived in a big house, a huge house, with quite a bit of land. And his house had an upstairs, which was quite something to have, and 2 floors. But people like my other uncle who had migrated came back from Cuba and was rumored to be very rich and a bit mad, because he would swear in Spanish. And he never did any work himself, I recall. He was sitting in his veranda holding court. But I felt that the richer, bigger folks in the place, they respected people like my parents and other similar families. And similarly, people like my family respected them. There was never any sense of antagonism, etc., in terms of cricket in the local school grounds and so forth. They were always mixed in, and what have you. But it was quite a catch. It was a difference if you had parents who had migrated. I recall, for example, that my parents would send a parcel of clothes over Christmas. And they would send jumpers, sort of short sleeves. You remember the 50s sort of tops. And when I came here in the late 50s, I used to be mystified later on. Why did they send us these jumpers? Why did we like them? It wasn't until in the 70s when I went back to those areas I realized we did need them, because it gets very cold in those hills in the evenings. But the very fact that you could wear things which were different from other kids also marked you off. Because, part of the story of migration, people assume sometimes, and in discussions one realizes that people assume that the people who migrate from one society to the next are the poorest. It's not so at all. Because if you remember the piece of work we did together when you invited me to conduct those interviews, one of the things that struck me then, talking to those folks, was that, and to my parents later on, was that you had to be able to put together £85 cash to buy 1 air ticket, which is a lot of money. You had to be, if you're coming by ship, it was less. And I remember as a school kid in secondary school in Peckham, how those kids who had arrived here by boat, by ship, you regarded them to have come from poorer families than those of us who had come by plane.